Alright, in the crypto space, we see Bitcoin getting a nice bounce to the upside, right around 70,000, up approximately 2.5%. Ethereum still hovering around that $2,500 mark, however, still within that structure. And the rest of the crypto space, the altcoins, some of them doing very well. Nice bounces across the market, Near Protocol, OP, Sui, Doge, and many others. Guys, in today's video, I want to talk about the general market. I want to use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, but more importantly, I want to talk about Doge. Why not? See, Doge getting a lot of price action to the upside is definitely getting a lot of people bullish. So you know what? Let's talk about the news. Let's analyze the charts and let's strategize to capitalize. Welcome to the channel. My name is Mike, and let's get right into it, guys. If you're new to the channel, welcome. On the channel, we talk about cryptocurrency, Bitcoin, Ethereum, and all the altcoins, looking for opportunity. Whether we go up or down, bearish or bullish, it doesn't matter. All we want to do is stay one step ahead of the market so that we can capitalize on any of the volatility. And if you appreciate the strategy, subscribe to the channel, click the bell so you don't miss out on any of my future videos, including the live streams at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Guys, if you have any projects you want me to cover here on the channel, feel free to let me know in the comment section below. You can hit me up on the socials. The links are in the description. Better yet, guys, join the Discord. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. All right, guys, let's begin. Let's see what's going on here. Really, we've been seeing a bit of green to the upside, which is good to see this relief. Some of the altcoins are up decently, getting a nice bit of relief. Of course, seeing a bit of red in the last little while. Any relief is definitely welcome. Market cap doing pretty good, guys. We're seeing the market. Let me just quickly refresh this just to make sure we get the latest and greatest. We're up to about $2.4 trillion, which is really good because that's where we were just a few days back, right? Around that level. Now we are also seeing some good confirmations that market participation is getting involved in a positive way, and that is volume is increased. You can see that as the price, the market cap is increasing, so is the volume, suggesting that the overall market is in consensus with this, which is good. It could be the beginning of a trend reversal on the market cap, which obviously would be super healthy for the crypto space in general. As we keep on going down, we do see Bitcoin doing pretty good. It got that nice double bottom on lower time frames. The 4-hour is still battling that pivot point structure. It's looking great. We identified a bullish divergence last night on the live stream. We did talk about the reality of the price action, and of course, we did kind of analyze what was going on. We had that hypothesis, we had the thesis. We came out this morning nice and hot, nice and green, and of course it's all about the trend. The trend is your friend, guys. Bitcoin has been showing a very good trend on the daily time frames, and until we see a trend reversal on the daily, guys, there's no real reason to get absolutely bearish here. The volatility that we are experiencing today is very self-explanatory. We get it, we know why. It's all political, so let's be patient here. We have, I would say, till tomorrow morning to really be secure about what's going on politically, in the US, and of course it's going to affect the global markets and all of that. So let's be prepared. We know that Trump is going to be very healthy for the crypto space. We know without Trump, things look a little bit uncertain, but still we know that the crypto will move on. Crypto will survive. And of course, we'll talk about all of this tonight. Tonight we'll talk about the news, we'll talk about price action, and more importantly, if you have any projects you want me to cover, that is a great time and place to join live and make those requests, and I'll definitely put them in top priority. All right, guys, let's continue. We do see a lot of these altcoins get a nice bit of relief. Solana, nice bounce. DOGECOIN getting a nice bounce to the upside. Of course, we'll talk about Doge in a second. I just want to get a sense of what this market is all about. We'll talk about Bitcoin price, and then we'll get right into the Doge chart. SHIB is following Doge. Of course, the dog coins, the OGs, and usually that's what happens. SHIB just tags along Doge, and that's totally fine, but Doge right now is definitely leading the way, and we know why. We'll talk about that in a second. Chainlink 3.7, we got some good bounces across the market. Sui, very strong project, obviously up 6%, and the rest of the altcoins that are part of that ecosystem are also doing pretty good. I scaled into this ecosystem a few days ago, and of course I'm a bit underwater, but it's not a big deal because right now I'm almost breaking even, which is totally totally fine. And ultimately, I'm expecting, you know, a good explosive move to the upside. Near protocol doing great. 5%. Obviously, it's been down much more. We still down 15%. Like I mentioned last night, Near Protocol and Sui and many others that were taking dips were great opportunities, particularly Near Protocol, because it was down 20% yesterday night. When I mentioned, guys, maybe you might want to take a bit of a position here because it looks pretty good. Those retracements, especially Bitcoin showing a potential bottom and getting that bullish divergence and all horizontal supports being in favor of a bounce, that's when you should be taking a bit of risk. BitTensor's another one, guys. You remember last night what BitTensor looked like? Absolute trash. Today, up 10%. Great move to the upside. Fed, nice move to the upside. A lot of those bigger dippers that have great fundamentals are definitely looking pretty good today. OP, remember OP, Optimism last night, down significantly, up 6% today. Great move to the upside. And the list goes on, guys. We're getting a bit of green, you know, erasing some of those losses. We have a little bit more work to do, but if you got into really strong bullish projects, a lot of the losses have been scrubbed away by a nice, strong, aggressive bounce. Okay, guys, so generally speaking, we haven't done much yet. I'm talking very bullish right now because of a nice green bounce, but the reality is the volatility is not over. Number one. Number two, we haven't really gotten a real pivot point structure just yet on this retracement that we've been getting. So a nice change of character would be awesome, and maybe a backtest, a confirmation low on this little rally that we've been having in the last 24 hours, right? That would be great to confirm a trend reversal. At this current moment, we're getting a bit of relief, which is awesome. Confirm this relief as a pivot point structure, and I'm all in. Definitely. All right, guys, I know you're here to talk about charts, so let's begin. Let's take a look at Bitcoin. We'll use Bitcoin as a leading indicator, and then we'll take a look at the Doge chart. I always use Bitcoin as an indicator, guys, and that's why I start off all my analysis always with Bitcoin, because if Bitcoin dips or Bitcoin rallies, it's going to affect the altcoin market, and it will affect Doge. So let's take a look at this in a little bit more detail. Generally speaking, we follow Bitcoin, like I mentioned. We follow Bitcoin because it is a great indicator. And as you know, on this dip, when Bitcoin was falling, the sentiment was definitely very low. We've been seeing altcoins definitely bleed out, not looking the greatest, no signs of strength. However, we can see that a little bounce in Bitcoin, even if it is, you know, 2.5%. At peak, it was about 4%. We saw some altcoins definitely do well and reclaim some of their previous price action. Doge being one of them. Right now, it's up 6.5% or so, while Bitcoin is about 3% to the upside for the day. Let me measure exactly more or less. We can see we're about 2.5%, which is good. So technically speaking, Doge has over doubled Bitcoin performance, which is typical of an altcoin, of a lower cap project. Now, Doge, just keep in mind, is not such a low cap project anymore. It is a large cap, but when we see the Bitcoin price show volatility, no matter how large the altcoin is, it is going to experience volatility. Now, the question is, what do we do from here with Bitcoin? Honestly, like I've been mentioning the last 48 hours, it's about taking it easy here, guys. Understand that the elections is going to continue. Then in the next 48 hours, even leading into tomorrow morning, maybe even tomorrow afternoon, we could still see more volatility, given the fact that we're still going to get news with regards who wins the elections, even up until tomorrow morning. Who knows how long it's going to take, because there's a bit of a saying that maybe it might take longer than expected to get the actual count in. But the reality is, the way Bitcoin is moving right now, it is so uncertain. It's playing games. It fell below horizontal or diagonal. It fell below the diagonal structure. Clearly fell below, bearish. Everybody was bearish. On lower time frames, it looked like trash because it got a little bit of a rejection here. Wasn't really a rejection on this diagonal, but you know the diagonals are not always perfect, and maybe it was a rejection. People were bearish. And then last night, I made sure to make it very clear, guys, there's no real reason to be super bearish, because we're waiting for a bullish response. We could especially in the current scenario where politically we know that there's a lot of volatility politically. So why not expect volatility in the charts, especially Bitcoin, and especially that Bitcoin's traded 24 hours a day. There's always going to be volatility. Even when traditional markets close today, we're going to see volatility all night long, especially as the news progresses, as mainstream media does produce whatever they're going to say on their outlets. So we got to be prepared for that. So back to the daily, because I think right now the daily is going to hide a lot of the noise. We're back bullish again. Why? Because we moved higher than this previous high right here. That's a good look. We're out of the structure once again. That's a great look. We got a bit of a rejection, but that's no big deal because these wicks, most of the times, they get tested once again. We go back up to those levels and test them to see if we can go up for higher highs. So it's absolutely fine, right? The issue is that if we start coming back down and we start breaking below structure again, and we start breaking, a bit of a, head and shoulders formation that's diagonal. I don't like diagonal head and shoulders, but if we do something like this that makes a confirmation high, a lower high, and then comes down to about this level, and we break back down below this zone, it starts to look pretty bad because look, measured move starts breaking this bigger trend, starts looking pretty bearish, and we could start rolling over. But guys, I don't want to speak bearish right now. The reality is I want to speak neutral. The best thing to do right now is be absolutely neutral. Wait, give yourself some time, take a break. If you get into any positions, make them small, make them risk-free, make them small amount of risk, leverage, small leverage, use a bit of margin to give yourself flexibility. Take it easy here because right now Bitcoin's still looking good. Even maybe about half an hour ago, Bitcoin was above 70K, and we're still trying to break above it as we speak. We're going to get another attempt above to that level. All right, guys, so there's no point in getting too much detail here on Bitcoin. Just understand that Bitcoin right now, as of now, is still looking bullish because the trend is definitely our friend. All right, guys, take a look at here at Doge. What's going on with Doge? Doge is looking super bullish. So let's step it back. Let's talk about fundamentals again. The reality is I've been following Doge for years, and Doge is one of those projects that ultimately, you love it because it's Doge, it's an OG, it has history, it has culture, and ultimately, if you were early investor into Doge, you made some great gains. The reality is that Doge took a different life. Let's put it that way. It took a different narrative approach, given the fact that now its main leader is Elon Musk. For those of you that don't know Elon Musk, and I don't know who doesn't, right now he's very political. He's very political. He's getting involved in the Trump campaign, and he's been speaking on behalf of Trump in the whole campaign and the whole administration. And he's been a supporter of Trump and obviously a supporter of Doge. And Doge being a meme coin is something that interests Elon very early on in Doge's pump. And he was definitely a part of it. Now, since then, since the last cycle, when we see Elon and Doge relationship flourish, we've been seeing him cool off. And I think it's a very strategic cool off with that relationship, given the fact that he doesn't want to, basically be called out for any influential take on Doge's price action, meaning insider trading and all that kind of stuff. The SEC was definitely after him when he was talking about Doge and all that kind of stuff. So I understand why he's kind of taking a step back from being a big proponent of Doge. But guys, he still, peppers in a few comments here and there. And every time he makes a comment, he's definitely causing the price to react. So this is a good thing. Now, if we move on from that, what does looking forward look like? Ultimately, Doge has very low utility at the current moment. What is it used for? In other words, why would you want to hold it? The only reason why you would want to hold it at this current moment is speculation. Speculation that the future has something in store for Doge. And that has a lot to do with the fact that Elon could definitely integrate it into his realm of technologies, because he's got an entire collection of various technologies across a broad spectrum of industries. So for me, it definitely provides the opportunity or the speculation that Doge has a future, even on X itself. And of course, a win for Trump and the campaign is obviously going to increase the probability and provide confluence for that probability that we could see Doge inherit some great fundamentals through via Doge, via Elon, via the campaign, via whatever it is, Trump, and the stance that he's taking on crypto is very bullish and all of that good stuff. So we could definitely see Doge continue running to the upside. Now, with or without Elon, Doge definitely has a following, right? And it has culture, and there's a big narrative behind Doge. All of a sudden we have sub coins that relate to Doge itself that have been doing pretty well. Also bells, if you follow bells, and there's other ones as well that have to do with the Doge narrative, but nonetheless, guys, we've been seeing a nice pop to the upside. Just keep in mind that at this level, I was calling the best risk to reward ratio opportunity to buy Doge, and I have the videos to show you that down here was the best time to buy. And obviously, as we started moving to the upside, things started to look very interesting to take a bit of profit. breaking above this volume gap, definitely no longer a weak volume gap, but definitely a nice top right here. De-risking opportunities on the way up, definitely de-risking opportunities based on previous highs, and volume gap that we flew right through. But guess what, guys? We came back to the bottom of the range, bounced off the 200 daily again, suggesting that, you know what, this would be a bottom, a confirmation low. So we're getting all kinds of confirmations as we're getting some peaks and valleys. Now we're at this level again, and we're pumping based on elections. Plain and simple. Based on elections, based on the future fundamentals of Doge, based on Elon's involvement in the politics, based on Doge and Elon having a very good relationship, we could see Doge fly tonight. We could see Doge hit much higher levels. But again, it's still very speculative, it's still very risky, it's still very volatile, and it's still very dependent on the political outcomes and the involvement of Elon Musk. Okay, so price action, that's fundamentals. Price action, guys, ultimately, guys, it's very risky to get in at the current moment. I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but ultimately, where else are you going to get in other than the biggest catalyst that Doge could have? Consider it a punt, consider it a gamble, consider it, a lottery ticket. Now here I'm looking at the weekly, so we're going to see a lot of the noise excluded. And while I'm looking at this chart, let's clean it up a little bit. All of this was potential de-risking opportunities, which, you know what, are not that valid anymore. In fact, I could reuse a little bit of this and say, look, if we come back through this volume gap, which is not as weak as it was before, very clearly, as you can see looking at the volume profile, and if we exclude some of this old price action, it might give us a little bit more clarity here. You can see it's not as weak. In fact, I would be compelled to raise up this volume gap to say, look, the weak spot is not as bad as it looks. It's right into this pocket. It's very small. And if we came back down to this level, I would say that would be a good DCA opportunity to buy the dip on a higher low once again, giving you a second opportunity to buy. And of course, because of the volatility, we don't know what's going to happen in the next 48 hours, 24 hours. That could give us that opportunity to buy a quick wick to the downside and still get support at previous tops and all this volume that has been used as support previously. So you can see there's a lot of support right around 10 cents, maybe 9.6 cents more or less. And could we come back down there again? Currently, we're making a lower high, but it's not confirmed yet because we could continue moving higher. Again, I'm looking at the weekly, big picture. Let's go on to the daily. This is a typical time frame for me. You can see that beautiful pivot point structure here on the daily, getting that nice pivot to the upside with good amount of volume suggests continuation to the upside. As of now, it's very possible. We did not change character yet. We're still making higher highs and higher lows on the price action. So the trend is still our friend. Ultimately, we are going to potentially hit a bit of resistance, and that resistance kind of begins, in my opinion, right around here, given the fact that we have some tops and all of that. But most importantly, it's the volume. It quickly diminishes significantly right around this level, suggesting that the price could definitely snap right through it if it could break this very small amount of resistance. It's not a big amount of resistance, guys. I would say that even right now is the bigger resistance based on this top, and the volume definitely tapering significantly right around this level. So this zone, I would say between 17.7 and 18, 19 cents, we need to break above that zone. Once we do, we enter a zone of volume gap, and then we start looking for higher highs. But we still need to pay attention to here. Look at this nice rounded bottom. What is the ideal scenario right now? The ideal scenario is, or what could happen, is a cup and handle. It could happen. We could see a consolidation as it tries to break out of the zone. And that consolidation, in fact, for those of you that are on the sidelines, is the best opportunity to build a position. Why? Because you have an area where to set a stop loss. Okay, so let's put that on hold for a second. Let's take a look at the oscillators. You can see that the momentum did get overbought, and in a good way, guys. Very strong overbought condition. Now you can see the trend is definitely to the upside, and that's done pretty much. It's overbought. You're not buying. It's very difficult to buy at overbought conditions on a daily time frame without expecting a retracement, even if it's a short-term dip. This is a very overheated, overbought state here currently on Doge, and the reality is we've gotten way more overbought in the past. Who's to say that we can't get way more overbought again for another impulsive move to the upside? It's possible. I'm telling you this is very rare. This doesn't happen very often, right? We get above the 70, and that's, done pretty much, and it's over. Really, we hit this area maybe about 80, 85, and usually that's where we stop out. And these are very rare. Now we could definitely get that, and that's usually when we get the major explosive expansions to the upside with the greatest gains. So you're taking a chance here that we explode again to the upside, or we're buying buying overbought. So this is in fact a trading scenario, not a long-term spot position, because if we do get overbought, unless we get into a raging bull run, you know, and we get a bullish catalyst for the crypto market, such as a Trump win, you know, we could definitely see that happen, and we could stay overbought for a good period of time and hang around the zone. Definitely, that's basically a bull run scenario where we see overbought conditions linger a lot more than oversold conditions, right? But in the meantime, we have to understand that if it's going to be treated as a trade, we could expect it to sweep up, go for one more impulse, and start coming down again and getting oversold. We have to consider that a possibility. From oversold to overbought, overbought to oversold. That's how we make peaks and valleys in this market, right? Ebb and flows. Okay, so let's keep all of this in mind. We're in an overheated state that could potentially get one more hurrah and one more expansion, which, you know, we got to be prepared for. Let's take a look at the trend oscillator. Definitely overheated, very indecisive at the moment, guys. Look how indecisive this is. Are we going up or down? Look at this: red histogram bar, green histogram bar, cross below, cross above. Expansion getting purple again, showing strength in the bullish control zone, guys. Doge looks bullish. The problem is entry. The entry right now is not the best. So let's kind of look at that again. Let's go back to the price action. Remember, price action is king. So keep all of this in mind. We looked at volatility, momentum, and we also looked at the trend. The trend looks like it's moving to the upside still. Momentum might give us another impulsive move to the upside and remain bullish in that bullish stance as long as we get a bullish catalyst here in the next 24, 48 hours. Okay, so what does that mean? Personally speaking, I don't like buying green pumps like this. Okay, and I hate to say it, but that's the truth, because I want to be bullish and I want to see this thing expand and I want to take the risk, but I don't want to take risk that's going to cost me my capital. So what I would wait for is a structure. And is it possible to get a structure overnight? I would say if we get a Trump win, this thing's not going to hold back. It's likely to, you know, start running very hard. But that sentiment is across the market. That sentiment is not only shared by me, and many people think that. And that would be an ideal people to get a lot of people wrecked, because, you know, max pain usually happens when you have too much consensus in the market, too much confidence, too much leverage, big position sizes, liquidity gets hunted. So ideally, we go sideways. This is ideally, we create a bull flag. In the bull flag, we put a stop loss right underneath it. We build a position in the bull flag. We expect continuation. If we break below the structure, we know where to stop ourselves out, because we are coming down for a low, and then we start looking for horizontal support, which in my opinion, this level right here, where these tops and bottoms, where the 200 daily is probably the best area for horizontal support to get a confirmation low, a higher low, for a potential another bounce for a higher high. So it all depends on what happens in the next little while, because Doge's catalyst is Elon and Trump win, obviously. But then again, from a risk to reward ratio opportunity, we could definitely fall, or we can flag out and continue to the upside. Flags and stop losses protect your gains, or protect your initial investment for too many losses. You don't want to take big losses here, guys. So this is the problem. Volatility, no structure. Let's get onto lower time frames to see if we can snipe something. Again, higher highs and higher lows. No structure other than the trend. No sideways structure to put a stop loss. Where are you going to put your stop loss? I'll ask you that. You're going to put it down here? Okay, maybe we could come down and hunt that liquidity, then go for the higher high. Down here, now measure. If you get in right now, if you put a stop loss down here, you have to be enduring a 16% dip. Down here, the dip is 25. Down here to the absolute structure is 42% dip. And look at this. This would be the best stop loss, but you got to put it all the way down here. Who wants to take a 50% dip and endure, then swallow that 50% loss? Absolutely not. So we need structure, guys. And the ambiguity that diagonal trend lines provide for putting in a stop loss, and you can see here, look at all these little nodes of volume. Which one is going to hold up? Is it going to be this one? Is it going to be this one? Or is it going to be this one? Or is it going to be down here? Guys, ultimately, this is the best level to start placing bids on Doge, is here and here. But if we get a structure, that's obviously a great place, because you never know, we could get a nice big continuation to the upside. And if you're planning to make a bet, based on the elections, small bags, guys, small bags. Don't be a gambler. If you're going to gamble, obviously, you know what gamblers, safe gambling is all about, right? You got to make sure that you leave your wallet at home. Take a bit, take a small position, and if it runs, congrats. If it doesn't, stop yourself out, call it a day, and walk away. Guys, if I've offered you any value in this video, do the channel a massive favor, slap the like button. It does really help out with the algorithm. If you want to follow me on the socials, the links are in the description below. Feel free to join the Discord, guys. The Discord is where it's at. Lots of good alpha, trade setups, fundamentals, and learning material. The best part is it's absolutely free. I'll see you tonight at 8 p.m. EST, where we talk about crypto news and price action. Take care, guys. Have a good one, and don't forget, buy the dip.